Alan Watts once said, "You are something the whole universe is doing, in the same way a wave is something the whole ocean is doing." Right now, you're experiencing everything through the lens of you, but that you isn't behind your eyes. It's not some ghost inside your skull. It's not a trapped soul looking for the exit. That you is the dance of life, showing up as a body, a voice, a feeling, a moment. But here's the twist. For most of your life, you've believed you're inside your head, peeking out at the world through your eyes, like a tiny pilot inside the cockpit of your body, trying to steer. And that's the mistake. You're not behind the world. You are the world peering into itself. You are the view, the seer, the seeing, not an outsider in the universe, but the universe itself, in a particular form. The belief that you're separate, that life is out there and you're in here, is the root of all your suffering. You don't need to become anything. You need to remember. Because the truth is, you're not a work in progress. You're not a self-help project. You're not a rough draft. You're the final form, disguised as a story about not being ready yet. You were born free, not theoretically, actually. No name, no plan, no identity, just awareness, open, curious, complete. And then slowly, society started to name you, label you, shape you. Here's your name. Here's your gender. Here's your country, your story, your fears, your future. And you, without realizing it, started playing the role. You became the character. But the character isn't who you are. It's a costume, a useful one sometimes, but not real. The real you is presence, spacious, wordless, vast, and right now it's listening. So much of your life has been spent chasing something, a feeling, a goal, a version of yourself that always seems just one step ahead. It's exhausting. But what if the whole chase was a trick? What if the one doing the chasing is the thing being chased? The more you run, the more you affirm the belief that something is missing. The more you search, the more you forget what's already here. There's a reason why stillness feels strange. Because stillness reveals the thing we've been avoiding, the simplicity of now, the ordinariness of being. But that's the miracle, the fact that you are aware at all, that there is breath, that there is sensation, that something exists, and that something is you happening. No visions, just presence. And it is enough. The mind is full of stories. It tells you who you are, what's wrong, what's missing. But thoughts aren't facts. They're weather. And you are not the storm. You're the sky. You are not the pain. You are the space in which pain arises and fades. When you stop clinging to thoughts, when you just let them pass like clouds, you begin to taste what you really are. And that is not something that can be captured in words. You've been taught to seek answers, to find meaning. But what if meaning isn't something you find, but something you feel, right here? You don't need to escape your life. You need to meet it. With your eyes open, with your heart soft, with your defenses down. What you're looking for is not out there. It's not on a mountaintop. It's not hidden behind rituals or robes or rules. What you're looking for is the one who's looking. When the seeker disappears, the truth reveals itself, because there's nothing to find, and no one who's been missing. Muddy water is best cleared by leaving it alone. You don't need to transcend anything. You don't need to glow in the dark. You just need to be still enough to notice what's already true. Trying to get spiritual is like trying to become natural. You already are, but you've forgotten because you've been trained to try so hard. You try to be calm. You try to let go. You try to be present. But the very act of trying tightens the grip. Real peace isn't forced. It arises when effort ends. It sneaks in the back door when striving walks out the front. The moment you stop pretending to be someone, you remember that you were everything all along. You are not in the universe. The universe is in you. You are what the cosmos is doing in this very moment. As a voice, a breath, a heartbeat. When you look at the stars, you're not gazing at something else. You're looking back at your own origin. And the most powerful realization, you never left. You don't have a life. You are life, not a spectator, not an outsider. You are the dance of existence, temporarily appearing as a human being. The ocean doesn't create the wave and then stand apart from it. The wave is the ocean in motion. So are you. This body, this identity, this moment, it's the ocean waving. And when the wave settles, the ocean remains. Doing nothing is not emptiness. It is presence. In stillness, you feel the quiet wisdom that effort will never touch. In silence, you hear the voice beneath all voices. In rest, you finally remember that being alive is enough. You don't need to prove your worth by running, fixing, becoming. You don't need to earn the right to exist. You are not a mistake. You are not behind schedule. You are not missing anything. You are not broken. And even if you feel lost, lost is just another shape the path takes before it returns you home. The world has taught you to doubt yourself, to be afraid of not knowing, to cover the quiet with noise. But underneath all that, under the layers of defense and story, is something untouched. It's not an idea. It's not a feeling. It's what you are. Who were you before the world told you who to be? Before the titles, the trauma, the tension? Who were you before your first fear? Before you were taught to be someone? That's not a mystery to solve. It's a presence to return to. Let go of your story for a moment. Let go of your goals, your past, your future. Breathe right here, right now. Nothing is missing. Most of the time, we try to fix ourselves. But what if you don't need fixing? What if you only need to see clearly, quietly, without resistance? The sky doesn't judge the clouds, it allows them. The river doesn't resent the stones, it flows around them. Can you let yourself be that free? Can you allow your life to be exactly as it is without needing to edit every moment? That is not giving up. That is waking up. The need to control every outcome is the ego, terrified of its own limits. But you are not your ego. You are the space that holds all of it. And in that space, you are safe. You are whole. You are already everything you've been pretending to seek. This moment has no agenda. It's not trying to teach you, fix you, punish you, or test you. It's simply here. And so are you. Eventually, the questions stop needing answers. The seeker stops needing a destination. You stop trying to make sense of it all, and you start feeling something deeper than understanding. You start living. You start noticing how the sun touches the leaves, how your breath feels against your chest, how a moment of stillness can feel like a lifetime of returning. You are not here to master the universe. You are here to remember that you are the universe. Everything else was just the dream of forgetting. And now you're waking up, not to something new, but to what has always been. Alan Watts said, "You are not a visitor in the universe. You are not in the world. You are the world in a particular form." This shift in perception is subtle, yet revolutionary. Just as a wave is not separate from the ocean, you are not separate from existence. The idea that you were born into a world of objects and must fight your way through it is an illusion, one born of language and reinforced by culture. Become what you are, says Watts, not because you must turn into something else, but because you've forgotten that you've always been it. At the heart of so much human suffering is the illusion of the ego, the sense of being a little self, a tight and tense center of willpower trapped inside a body, burdened by thoughts, navigating a hostile or indifferent world. Watts argues that this ego is a social fiction. It's a convenient abstraction we use to function in the world, but it has no ultimate reality. What we call I is not some ghost in the machine. It is a pattern, a process, a dance of energy, always changing. Imagine trying to find the exact location of a whirlpool in a river. Where does it begin and where does it end? It's not a separate thing. It's a way the water moves. So too, your sense of self is a kind of movement in consciousness, a rhythm of the universe expressing itself uniquely. To cling to the ego as something fixed and isolated is like trying to preserve a flame in a glass jar. The more you try to trap it, the more it disappears. One of the most liberating teachings in his book, Become What You Are, is to stop striving to become something you're not. So many of us live under the spell of spiritual ambition. We want to be better, purer, more awakened, more zen. But Watts warns that this striving is itself the trap. In trying to become spiritual, you reinforce the very illusion that you are not already divine. It's like trying to calm a pool of water by stirring it, or chasing your own shadow, thinking it lies just a few steps ahead. The more effort you make to become something other, the more you harden the illusion of separation. True transformation, he suggests, comes not by force, but by surrender. Not by trying to become, but by remembering what already is. Watts often uses the metaphor of play to describe reality. Life, he insists, is not a problem to solve or a battle to win. It is a game, a dance, a divine performance. And like all good play, it has no purpose beyond itself. This idea runs counter to our deeply ingrained belief in productivity and linear goals. We're trained to believe that every action must lead to some better future. But Watts invites us to loosen this grip and see life as something happening now, something radiant, spontaneous, and whole. Just as music is not about reaching the final note, life is not about achieving some end. The point is to sing, to dance, to move with the rhythm. When we stop trying to make life into something it's not, we begin to see its perfection. You are the universe looking at itself. In one of the most stunning and poetic insights of the book, Watts explains that your consciousness is not just in the universe. It is the universe. You are not a detached observer. You are what the universe is doing in this moment, in this body, in this mind. To say I came into this world is to misunderstand. You came out of it, like a blossom on a tree, like a wave rising from the sea. And so, every experience you have is the cosmos exploring itself. Every thought, every breath, every dream is a thread in the vast, ever-weaving tapestry of being. This insight doesn't inflate the ego, it dissolves it. You are not God in a boastful way. You are Godding. You are part of the divine unfolding. Watts delights in paradox and tells us to embrace it. He reminds us again and again that the deepest truths can't be captured in neat concepts. You are both separate and not separate. You are both the dancer and the dance. You are both the actor and the audience. This isn't a contradiction. It's the nature of reality. Our minds crave certainty and clear boundaries, but life is inherently mysterious. The moment you try to pin it down, it slips through your fingers like water. Watts encourages us to live with this mystery, to be comfortable in the gray areas, to embrace the weird, wild beauty of being alive without needing everything to make sense. Though deeply inspired by Buddhism, Hinduism, and Taoism, Watts does not promote any one religion. Instead, he sees religious truth as experiential, not doctrinal. He says religion, at its best, is not about believing things, it's about waking up to what is. To practice true religion is not to follow rules or worship a distant deity. It is to see the sacred in every leaf, every laugh, every moment of silence. In this way, even an atheist can be religious, if they are in awe of life. Watts invites us to rediscover reverence, not in temples or scriptures alone, but in the raw immediacy of existence itself. Meditation for Watts is not about controlling the mind. It's about watching it, listening to it, allowing it to dance without interference. The point is not to silence thought, but to stop identifying with it. As you sit and observe, you begin to notice that thoughts are like clouds drifting across the sky. They arise and pass, but they are not you. In the space between thoughts, in the simple awareness of now, you find a quiet that is not empty, but alive. This is the place where the illusion of separation begins to dissolve. One of the most startling ideas Watts shares is that true peace comes when we're willing to be nothing. This doesn't mean self-hatred or nihilism. It means freedom from the false identity we've constructed. When you let go of the need to be important, to be special, to be somebody, you become light. You become free. In letting go of the mask, the armor, the story, you return to a childlike innocence, a playful wonder. You are no longer trying to prove anything or protect anything. You simply are. And in that simple being, you become everything. Watts reminds us that all this is not about intellectual understanding. It's about transformation in the deepest sense. You can read 1,000 books, but if you're still striving, still resisting, still trapped in the belief that you are not enough, then the words haven't landed. To become what you are is to embody it, to trust yourself and to stop trying so hard, to rest in the flow of life without needing to control it. It's a journey that requires no distance, no struggle, only a softening. You are not a problem to fix. You are not a project to complete. You are not lost. You are what the universe is doing, here and now. And there is nothing more to become, only something deeper to realize. You're already home.